This video is brought to you by NordVPN. I don't think there has been a phone that I've been chasing so much, and I was so excited to get the Pixel Pro 9 Fold. The Pixel 9 Pro Fold. Did I get it right?
Yeah, finally.
I was super pumped to try the Pixel 9 Pro Fold, not only because of the form factor that was speaking to me, but also because this, believe it or not, is my first ever Pixel. Having been praised by the masses, which wasn't the case with the Z Fold 6 this year, as soon as I got the opportunity, I jumped right in it. Hours after I transferred everything from my Z Fold 6, however, my spark started to fade a little bit. You see, I was used to One UI, an Android operating system which is more than just a skin, that is super balanced and very predictable. I know a lot of people say that if you move from an iPhone, then you should go for Pixel, but I kind of think that you should go for Samsung just because of One UI. The reason I'm saying this is because the Pixel, being a native Google product, was supposed to be an even better alternative than something like a Samsung, right? Well, not in my initial experience. After the Z Fold in One UI, somehow everything felt dated with the Pixel, especially when we talk about some of the themed colors in combination with plenty of UI elements that felt weirdly positioned, like the cogwheel for the settings. I was witnessing software glitches, such as internal apps I tested on the internal screen transferring over to the external one as rectangles, which honestly didn't justify the price. So here's a pickle. My fingerprint reminder prompt keeps bouncing here in the corner, and I can't get rid of it. I mean, no matter what I do, it just stays there. And what's more annoying is the fact that I can't turn off the phone. Like if I press it, manage to turn on the camera, but I can't turn off the phone. Weird. And then there was the biggest shock for me, the inability to have separate displays for the inside and the outside display, something that is given on the Z Fold and something that was driving me crazy on the OnePlus Open last year. Sometimes the phone might stay off even if I open it. If I try to turn it on, I can. The screen is active, I see the vibrations and stuff on the outside, but I can't make the internal screen work. The solution to this is either close it. Oh, see? Just came back. It took a while. Another solution would be to just reset the phone to make it work again. And this is on the latest Android 15, by the way. Luckily, I had the distraction of the looks to keep me entertained while I get back to software customization later. I mean, look at it. In a time where a generation difference produces the same result, this phone felt like a sweating cold Coke in a hot summer day. It felt refreshingly new. Unlike other phones, the asymmetrical front screen is actually something that I see as a pro, not a con. It feels very different and very deliberate. This additional front bezel real estate allows for cases like the Google case for this specific phone to glue really tight and stay firmly in place. This is not the case when we talk about foldables with thin bezels, because usually they are very flimsy and easy to unglue, which is not, a big deal, but it kind of feels cheap. For the default Google case, it is super sturdy. And by the way, I have modified this case with a rolling square circle, which I'll show you how I use in a bit. The thinness, on the other hand, of this device, while folded, is just unbelievable, especially when I place it next to my iPhone 16 Pro. Even with a case like this one from Pitaka, the Pixel Fold still felt like the Japanese man who allegedly found an iPhone in the 1980s. By the way, if you end up enjoying this video, subscribe, because why not? And then there was the internal experience. Now, full transparency, as much as I prefer the narrow outside screen over the one-handed use of the Z Fold, I can't run away and not enjoy the vastness of the 8-inch Pixel screen. But I'll get to that in a moment. First, I need to get something off my chest. Almost 2 months later, and I still can't get used to the power button being above the volume rocker. I mean, every time I want to turn on the phone, I keep pressing the volume up. And if it's powered off, sometimes I just hold the volume up, hoping that the phone will start. And of course, nothing happens. The fingerprint being there doesn't help it either. I guess I need another few months to actually get used to it. So, when I was setting it up, before I was able to move an icon, I had to figure out whether or not I would be able to transfer over my Samsung wearables, the watches, and the ring. Luckily, things worked out perfect. In fact, faster and easier than transferring an Apple Watch to a new iPhone. It was a breath of fresh air to witness a company who don't necessarily want to keep you locked in their ecosystem. With Galaxy Health and Wear and my wearable set, it was smooth sailing. But not before I installed and set my VPN. I have NordVPN set up across all my devices because it's become essential for keeping my data secure. With their Threat Protection Pro, I'm shielded from more than just hackers and data collectors. This advanced tool blocks malware, phishing scams, and other online threats without logging any of my activity. So whenever I'm online, my information stays private and out of reach. Plus, I gain access to all my favorite streaming content. Switching virtual locations with NordVPN is incredibly simple. With just one tap, I can choose from thousands of servers worldwide to access my favorite content safely and quickly. The control panel toggle alongside Nord's widget allows me to make the switch in a split second, ensuring the best connection speed possible. What I appreciate most is that I can enjoy unlimited data and a smooth browsing experience, knowing NordVPN's mission is to create a safer, more private internet. So if you're looking to protect your online life, check out nordvpn.com/thisise or use my code ThisIsE for a great offer, a 2-year plan plus 4 extra months with a discount. And since there is a 30-day money-back guarantee, it's risk-free to try. Having used this phone for a while now, I'm super pumped to report on the excellent vibration motor that is always there to give me a solid feedback when typing. To me, this tactility gives me just the right amount of feedback, making every small interaction that much more enjoyable. I'd say on par with the iPhone, if not even better. It is really that good. Compared to my Z Fold, writing on the external display is an absolute pleasure if we talk about two-handed use. This being a fully fledged Google Pixel 9 Pro on the outside, it is expected, to be honest. Unfortunately, one-handed use is more compromised, but the good thing is that I can easily forget about that once I unfold this beauty. On the inside, things are absolutely gorgeous. The 2700 nits, 120Hz LTPO display is exactly as I imagined it to be. Silky smooth, vivid, and punchy when playing a game or watching something. Thankfully, some of my initial minor annoyances were addressed with the release of Android 15, like the ability to finally create app pairs, which for some reason doesn't work on all apps. Like, for example, those Samsung apps that I have in split screen, I cannot save for some reason. And this happens with other pairs as well. It's a bit weird. Unfortunately, other missed opportunities that exist on the Z Fold are still present on the Pixel despite Android 15. For example, I can hold to delete apps from the app drawer. I have to drag them to a specific location up top, even though there is a secondary menu available. Not a huge deal, but it does require two-handed use on many occasions. I can also organize and create app folders within the drawer only on the home screen. Here's another quick one. Why do I have to swipe all the way to the end of the active apps to find the clear all button? Flex mode is something that I got used to a lot coming from the Z Fold 6, and I was quickly reminded of the fact that it's not present on the Pixel. For example, if I want to watch the Penguin and I don't have a specialty prop case on the back of the phone, I can't have folded like I can do on the Z Fold. My only option is to have folded and use the outside screen, which works only at a specific, almost closed position. Not ideal. I can, for example, have two file windows side by side. If I try to do that, then I get a message that this app can only be opened in one window. And this is very useful when you want to, move stuff away and really take advantage of the big screen. Also, drag and drop functionalities are lacking as well. The most common use case, for example, would be to use a split app setup where I have a browser and my password manager, for example, where on the Z Fold I can just grab something like my password and, take it over in the password field. That doesn't work on the Pixel, just like the triple app setup doesn't work. To compensate for the lack of flex and to actually take the most out of this giant screen, I am using for the most part the OEM Pixel case. First of all, it is very protective, if I put it the right way. And second, on the back of the case, I have glued this rolling square circle, which I probably mentioned earlier. And the reason for that is so I can mount this little gizmo. This is a Banks magnetic ring, which has probably the best and strongest hinge that I can use on any smartphone with magnetic attachment on the back. Not only that, but it also has this, which is super comfortable. So anytime I want to watch something, all I have to do is open the phone and just prop it like that, no matter where I am. The situation with the volume adjustment is very weird too, by the way. The best way that I can describe it is 70% of really low volume and low increments, and then at the last 30% it kind of becomes as loud as other phones. But at least we have a very cool Android 15 way to control the different volumes now. In terms of speakers and volume, I wouldn't say it sounds as good or rich as the Z Fold 6, nor as punchy as the iPhone 16 Pro, but you can be the judge of that in my non-scientific test that I'll show you, which of course sounds best with headphones. What else? No DeX and an inferior file management system, and I'm sure at this point you might be thinking that I am annoying and I'm expecting too much. But listen, even at the reduced price of $300, this is still a $1,500 phone that comes with 256 gigabytes of storage. Honestly, I expect no compromises, which are clear given the lack of accessories in the box, so the device itself should be immaculate. But even despite my gripes and annoyances, this is still the phone that I'll choose for the foreseeable future, and I'll be saying goodbye to my beloved Z Fold 6, and here's why. First and foremost, the camera on the Pixel Fold is unbelievable, primarily when talking about photos. Perhaps it is not as good as the Pixel 9 Pro XL, but it is miles better than the Z Fold, and on many occasions better than my other daily, the 16 Pro. When it comes to pictures, as long as I double press the right button and not the volume up rocker, I know I'll be able to grab the perfect family moments 99% of the time. The 48 megapixel main shooter in combination with the amazing Google post-processing is a reason big enough to think in the direction of this foldable. A feature that I did not expect to fall in love with is Add Me. This is where I can take a photo of my family and ask my wife to grab the phone to replace me as the photographer so I can run into the frame and add myself to the mix. Sure, sometimes I might end up as a giant, but on many occasions I don't need to look for a place to prop the device, so I can quickly snap a photo of a group. The 5XL photo lens is also a pleasure to have, especially on the Pixel, because the post-processing on this device is absolutely amazing. Boom. The battery on the Pixel Fold is no slouch either. Something that I showcased in my iPhone 16 Pro Day in the Life video is how crazy this phone is when it comes to holding a charge. This is the device that I use the majority of the time throughout my day. If I pull out the iPhone, it is because I need to reply to an iMessage or perhaps shoot a quick video to AirDrop. The rest of the time, the Pixel is the one that I enjoy using most. It is also the device that streams content throughout my day, most heavily in the evenings, and still, it can easily last me 2 days. Depending on the use case, if this was my main phone, it could be easily a day and a half or a 2-day phone, depending on the settings that I go for. And then there are the little things, these special touches. Seeing at a glance the music that is playing in the background is old news at this point, but it is news for newbie Pixel users like me, and it's fantastic. The cool animations when I turn the Pixel on or put it to sleep for that matter don't get old. The tactile feedback when doing simple things like pulling down the notifications pane is something that, tickles my satisfaction just as much as the overall smoothness of the entire UI and navigation. I dig the Magic Eraser tool and of course the Circle to Search, but for some reason what I appreciate most is the Screenshots app. People might not realize this, but we tend to take a lot of screenshots. Many of them can actually be considered important. I think this built-in app should have existed a long time ago. If you enjoyed this video, then you should definitely check out my favorite Z Fold 6 episode right here. Like and subscribe to the channel as well as my newsletter, and as always, it's been an absolute pleasure. This is E, over and out.